Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. It's finished. Real Betis nil, Manchester United 1. It's 5-1 on aggregate. United, going through. Some people might say this game was a formality. It didn't feel that way. It was a bit nervy. It was a bit touchy at times. And for good reason that it was, because of the changes that they had made. But ultimately, when Marcus Rashford's goal just, smoothing things out, it was a good goal. And it all starts from Facundo Pellistri winning the ball back, in the United defensive area. It was a good interception. He plays it forward. It comes out to Casemiro. Casemiro's switch of play is so good. That's just a beautiful pass, by the way. It's not. It's still a lot of work to do, but that switch of play just takes a lot of the Betis players out. And then Malacia makes a nice run, just to as a decoy. Probably would have passed it, maybe not, but he at least made that one and he pulled one of the defenders away. That gives the space to Marcus Rashford and he puts it in. He had a good opportunity just a couple of seconds ago, which he completely shanked over. And I think maybe Weghorst got in his line of sight, maybe, but he still should have probably put it on target at the very least. But did he have a good game today? I don't think Marcus Rashford had a good game today. I think another 6.5 out of 10. But he gets goals. That's what he's doing right now. He's not playing that well, but he's getting goals. He's scoring them. And 27 goals this season, you can't argue with that, can you? It's been a great season for him. From being a player where we're questioning his attitude, his motivation, his desire to being the player that he is today. Such a key player for Manchester United. It's just incredible, the transformation that he has had. And they needed him to be good today because they didn't have a lot of bench options when you think about it. So it's a welcome goal. Betis, you know what? They'll go back thinking that we should have at least got a draw from this game. They'll go back thinking that we could have probably even won it, because Juanmi, I think, had two very good chances. The thing is, though, the good chances fell to Juanmi when they probably should have fallen to Perez or to Joaquin. Maybe they could have done more, but if falling to Juanmi didn't have a good game today, and he kept missing those chances. That one-on-one right at the start of the game, 7 or 8 minutes in, he's in and he's got to score from there. And if he had scored that goal, guess what? It's suddenly 1-0. The crowd is like, up for it. It's a very, very nervous atmosphere. You're suddenly in the game, and you've got a nervous Harry Maguire next to you. And we'll talk about him as well. It could have been a game, so there was a massive chance that one we missed there, which could have very well been taken. There was another stop which De Gea made, which is fantastic, by the way. Great save from him there. And then there was a chance in the second half, but again, he just hit it against, he just lost his touch. He couldn't get it on his right foot. The game was probably up by then, but still there were 3 very good chances where they could have easily won or drawn the game. At the very least, they could have done that. They might even have made more had they taken the chances, but that's the way football is, isn't it? If you don't take your chances, you don't win. And some people might ask why Jose Perez started ahead of Borja Iglesias if you're trying to look for goals. I think it made sense because Borja Iglesias is not very fast. You've got Maguire and you've got Martinez, and they are not particularly fast either. So to play Borja Iglesias, it's just for a team that's going to be, because I think Betis were like, we're going to play counter. We're going to play on the counter. That's what they were doing. They're just winning the ball back and playing on the counter. For that, you need pace, and Borja Iglesias doesn't provide that. So you put in Jose Perez because he's more pacey, and so you've got that ability to run in behind defenders, which I think is what Pellegrini wanted. So he played that right. The problem was the best chances didn't fall to Perez. It fell to Juanmi, and that was where I think the game was ultimately lost. But those are the risks that you've got to take. So I think it was tactically, in theory, it was the right decision. It didn't work out the way it was supposed to, but then it was not the wrong decision either. With regards to Manchester United, I've got to say that Harry Maguire for me was quite clearly probably the poorest player on the pitch. I think he was. I think I'm trying to think who else. And Jadon Sancho was not that good, but he didn't play the full game anyway. And I don't think Elanga had a good game either, but you don't really say anything much about them because they didn't play a lot. But Maguire was very poor. De Gea was also quite poor, especially with his distribution, but then he more than made up for it with the saves that he made. So I'm gonna, so I can overlook that. What I think is the problem is I think there was a Juanmi header as well, but De Gea had saved it. They had kept out again the good header that came to Juanmi, and he's kept it out. So De Gea, I think, redeemed himself a little bit with the saves. The problem with Maguire is that it's not just his overall defending, which I think was average at best. The problem is the effect that he has on the team. And there was one moment in the second half, they're 1-0 up. So again, it may not have mattered much, but there's a break on, and Wan-Bissaka is basically right next to Maguire. Maguire is here, Wan-Bissaka is here. That's the way it is. That's how close they were, because Wan-Bissaka has got to cover for Maguire. He can see a winger has the ball and he's running, but Wan-Bissaka doesn't go to tackle him. He just lets him go because he cannot leave Maguire alone, because he knows Maguire is not going to be able to track his runner. So that that shows you the impact that he has on the team. Lisandro Martinez was nothing out off at him as well. He's just whatever his deficiencies are as a footballer, and there are many, and which is one of the reasons why he'll never be a top footballer. The problem is the impact that he has not just on his own game, but that he has on the other people around him is the reason why I think he needs to be sold. And some people might say, well, he can be a squad player. I don't think he can be a squad player, because imagine if you have a crisis where Varane is out, Martinez is out, and you've got to play someone. Would you still want to see Maguire? You still need better than Harry Maguire if you're going to win games. Or you're just saying, well, you know what, we're just going to have to lose the game. So yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that he went with Maguire instead of Lindelof, because Lindelof at least has got something about him. I think Maguire just played out of sympathy, like, oh, you know, he's a captain, so he's got to play. But I mean, yeah, he just doesn't fill me with confidence. So I'll be surprised if he's here start next season. The only reason he'll be here is because nobody wants him. But otherwise, I mean, I'd be surprised if he's still at the club past the summer. That's just my opinion. Anyway, I thought Pellistri was good as well. And if Anthony is not available, I'd rather see Pellistri start than Sancho. I don't think Sancho, because we really don't have an option, right? Because Sancho is not really a winger. I don't think Sancho had a good game. Again, you know, he played number 10, played left wing. He's all right when he comes on, you know, at 1-0 up, you know, the game stretch. I think he looks okay, but I don't think he has the ability right now. At least I think there's still work that needs to be done on his game. And he's not ready to be starting games at this point, at least. Pellistri, I thought looked good, though. He didn't set the world on fire. So he had a big role to play in that goal. Probably not in the way that he would have wanted, but he had a role to play in that goal. And I thought there were a couple of good moments. He showed why he's different from Anthony, because he was making a lot of forward runs and, you know, putting crosses in the box. He was, you know, like the thing with Anthony is he's so afraid to use his right foot that sometimes certain simple balls he would not play them. And you saw Pellistri playing them because he can use his right foot and he can use his left foot. You know, so he's not one-footed, so therefore he can do stuff that Anthony can't. I would still start Anthony if he's fit, because Anthony's work rate probably is better than Pellistri, and you will need that against Fulham because they're going to miss Casemiro in that game. But otherwise, I think if Anthony is not available, the Pellistri's got to start. I hope Ten Hag starts Pellistri, because it was a steady 6.5 out of 10, I would say, you know, or maybe a 7. I play 7 because he's a young player, you give him 7, but it was a good 7. You know, it was not a 9 or not a 10, but definitely not too bad either. So I would play Pellistri if Anthony's not available. And then of course that brings me to the man of the match. Well, I think it's got to be Casemiro. It's going to be Casemiro. You know what? You know, he had a big role to play in that goal. He played 90 minutes. And some people might give it to another player. Maybe, you know, and I think Martinez had a good game as well. But I just feel that the number of chances that United, you know, conceded in that first half makes me a little bit sour on both Martinez and Maguire. I thought Malacia was okay. But you know, he was good enough, I think. But I think Casemiro was just the guy, the glue that was holding everything together. And it's a shame that he's going to miss 4 games because of a bad refereeing decision. I'll keep saying this every time. It was a bad refereeing decision. It was an error in judgment from the referee. But you know, that's just what it is. But you see what difference that he brings to the team. And I was not surprised. And the commentators kept saying they're going to take him off. He's on a yellow. They're going to take him off. He's not, because he's going to play 90 minutes because he has, you know, they're going to rest. He's not going to play against Fulham. If Casemiro had not started, I would not have been surprised, because you might have wanted to give Sabitzer a bit more game time. You might have wanted to give McTominay a bit more game time. But I think he figured, I'm going to play Casemiro and then I'm going to rotate the other 2. So I think Ferenc Sabitzer will start the game against Fulham. But he was magnificent to be my man of the match. But let me know your thoughts. You know, maybe somebody else was your pick for man of the match. Maybe I'm being a bit too sentimental as well because of what happened on Sunday. But always happy to hear your thoughts. Of course, do smash like if you enjoyed the game, if you enjoyed this video, and if you enjoyed Manchester United winning into the quarterfinals now of the Europa League. Let's see who they pick. It's still too early to be making any predictions, but let's see. It's going to be a tough field, by the way, in terms of who's going to, depending if the teams that are expected to make through go through. Then I think then we've got a really, really competitive field of 8 teams in that Europa League quarterfinal. So very, very interesting to see who gets whom, but still some ways to go for that. Anyway, do share your comments in the game, of course. Subscribe to our channel on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. If you enjoyed, if you like our content, if you want to support us, please do that. We appreciate it, of course. And do stay tuned. We'll have a couple more videos and match reactions today because there's a few more games coming up, and we'll be here to react to that. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.